I'm continuing my series of Mash Retro reviews with the 24th and final episode of Season 2. The episode is A Smattering of Intelligence, and the most intelligent characters in this episode aren't the people from Intelligence. No, they're crazy. Maybe intelligent and crazy, but still crazy. So, this is another Colonel Flagg episode. He comes in because, his first appearance in this episode, he wasn't Colonel Flagg, but come on. They just decided to hit the reset button and now have the characters remember him. But it's pretty much Colonel Flagg in that previous episode, which I talked about. But anyhow, this is Colonel Flagg's first proper appearance. He comes in from a helicopter crash, and that's how he gets in the camp. And he's looking for something. Well, we don't know what it is, but we do know that one of Trapper's old friends, a Vinnie Pratt, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Lots of fake names in this episode, by the way. Comes in, so we at least can trust his at least identity, maybe not his job, but his identity, because Trapper knows him. But he comes in saying that he's from G2 and he's here to figure out what Colonel Flagg is up to because of, G2 wants its money and Flagg's, is it CIA, CIC, or CID? It's CIA. And, what they're up to, because we need to make sure we get the money and they don't. By the way, G2's intelligence on a divisional level, I'm just saying. So technically he probably actually would be with, probably would be with maybe CIC, which would be Army Counterintelligence. CID is Army Criminal Investigation Division. CIA is the Central Intelligence Agency. Kind of Army, kind of not, at this time in history, if I remember correctly. Regardless, bunch of fake names for both of these characters go around, but Flagg keeps on changing which C organization he's from. Pratt, he sticks with G2, and his cover, he's an engineer. But essentially, both of these characters are trying to find something. So what does Hawkeye and Trapper do? They decide to basically frame Frank and plant false intelligence in his file. So yes, they convince Flagg that Frank is a communist by, the fact that he gave money to supposedly communist-backed charities. And Frank's response is he believes everyone has a right to be poor. Man, that reminds me of, rich people today. Frank, I don't like you. Honestly, seems like that proves why Frank is just a mean-spirited jerk of a character, unlike his actor. But meanwhile, for Pratt, they convince him that Frank is a fascist instead. And if you look at what the fake stuff in his file, the fake fascist stuff is actually way more damning than the fake communist stuff. Fake communist stuff. He donates to charity and in Tokyo visited the Russian ballet. None of those are that incriminating unless you die hard on finding communists in a red scale. Meanwhile, with the fake fascist evidence, it's more damning. Involved with the German-American Bund, the KKK. Like, that's more damning stuff than actual terrorist organizations and subversive elements. Again, there could be my, left-leaning bias affecting that, but donating charity and seeing ballet, it's not incriminating. It's not like, he gave nuclear secrets to the Soviet Union. That would be incriminating. But the point is that both of these characters are so set on finding something that they don't question what they're reading. Especially Flagg, because he was told by Frank to take a look at his file. If Frank saw what he had in there was incriminating, he wouldn't have done that. And with Pratt, it was more of, just, I think, I think with that, Hawkeye and Trapper, yeah, they want to put one over on Pratt, especially with Trapper being an old friend, but putting one on Frank, and that's kind of what they think of Frank. They think that he's a right-leaning nut, a ultra-nationalist. We know how Frank would be voting today. He would be voting based off of blind loyalty to nationalism rather than, anything more sensible. All that to say, this is a really good episode. It's fun. And that's what this episode is all about, having fun. There's many great comedic moments. And there's one other thing I want to mention before I end my review. I could talk about every comedic moment, but that would take forever, such as Flagg deliberately making his injury worse so he will have a medical reason to remain as a 477. That's a good joke. There's many others, including with Flagg's fake identities, including one that Henry should not use in his records because he's going to need that in the week in Tokyo. Like, just a bunch of fun jokes. But the episode ends with a joint report from both of them, because they know each other. They're both in intelligence, of course. So, and I think, and also because Pratt takes pictures of the Swan right before he leaves, it's confirming that he did not tell the whole truth why he was there, I think. Again, we're both a little crazy, but Pratt at least the most sensible, at least the most sensible in how he goes about things. But anyhow, I didn't catch this when I first watched this episode, but the ending with the report, a picture of each of our main characters. It's literally just the same thing they've done at the end of the other episode, just recapping who our characters are at the end of the season in a fun way. I didn't catch that. Though, the picture for Radar is definitely from this episode, but the picture of Hawkeye and Trapper from when they had the gorilla suits a couple episodes ago. And not every picture is from this episode, like those two demonstrate. But I didn't catch that what the ending actually was until doing this retro review. And speaking of how this is a season finale and all that, next week should be coming out my compilation review of season 2, so stay tuned for that. Then I'll take a week off before I go on to season 3, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the force be with you, always.